I know some of you are fully ready to shut the blinds and never see the sun again. But what should you actually play to make that happen? Honestly, mixing an open world with an RPG is the absolute best way to sink countless hours into a game. So let's get into it.
Now it's done.
Down your arms.
And I take the rest.
Yo, if you want an RPG that literally refuses to hold your hand, Dragon's Dogma 2 is the one. Honestly, the absolute best part is the completely unscripted, pure, chaotic sandbox combat. 1 minute you're strolling down a dirt path, the next, a massive griffin crashes down, grabs your buddy, and yeets them off a cliff. It's that wild. You can literally climb giant monsters like you're in Shadow of the Colossus, or cast magic that totally wrecks the terrain. Plus, the pawn system is super unique. You basically borrow other players' custom AI companions who actually learn from their own worlds. It genuinely feels like a real adventure where you make up your own epic stories instead of just mindlessly following a mini-map. You seriously have to try it out, man. Next up is Hell Is Us. It dropped late 2025, and dude, it completely blew my mind. The absolute best thing about this game? It entirely strips away all the annoying hand-holding we always see nowadays. I mean, 0 waypoints, no compass markers, no map telling you exactly where to go. You actually have to pay close attention to the super creepy environments and figure stuff out yourself. It makes the exploration feel incredibly deep and immersive. The whole vibe is this crazy mix of dark thriller and tense survival action. You are wandering around a country destroyed by civil war, fighting terrifying supernatural monsters with some really satisfying melee weapons. If you are tired of staring at a minimap and just want to get totally lost in a mysterious, haunting world, play this. Man, if you are into martial arts, Where Winds Meet is the ultimate wuxia fantasy. Set in ancient China, it officially dropped in late 2025. The biggest flex here? The mind-blowing freedom of movement and role-playing. You can literally run on water, scale sheer walls, and leap across rooftops like an absolute ninja. But it gets way crazier. You do not just have to be a warrior. You can actually choose random jobs like being a doctor or a smooth-talking orator. The combat is so incredibly flashy, letting you blend classic weapons with wild mystical skills like Tai Chi to just dunk on your enemies. Whether you want to play solo or team up with friends online in its massive living world, it gives you so much freedom to forge your own epic legacy. Okay, imagine Skyrim, but throw it into a super dark, twisted version of the King Arthur legend. That is Tainted Grail: The Fall of Avalon. It hit 1.0 in early 2025. The strongest point? Hands down, it is the incredibly deep, branching narrative and super grimy atmosphere. This is definitely not your typical shiny knight adventure, bro. Everything is totally bleak, and your choices actually carry heavy, meaningful consequences. You get total freedom to build your character however you want. Want to be a stealthy archer? Go for it. A crazy alchemist punching dudes in the face? Do it. Plus, the map is loaded with secrets, dark dungeons, and this terrifying fog called the Wordness that makes nighttime survival super intense. If you miss classic chunky first-person RPGs, do not skip this. Now we gotta talk about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Seriously, even if you have never touched this franchise, you need to play it just for the insane scale of its world. The best part of Rebirth? How much actual life they stuffed into every single region. You are not just walking across some empty, boring field, you are drifting on chocobos up massive mountains, playing a ridiculous amount of genuinely fun minigames, and exploring environments that feel so incredibly alive. The combat system is an absolute masterpiece too. It perfectly blends real-time action with strategy, so every boss fight feels like a crazy movie showdown. Plus, the character dynamics are so well written, it literally feels like you are on a chaotic road trip with your best buds. It is simply massive and gorgeous.
ちょっとだけ観光してこ。だってコスタデルソルだよ。コスタデル。
Next up is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Honestly, if you crave historical realism, nothing else even comes close. The biggest reason you gotta play this is the sheer depth of its living, breathing medieval world. It is set in 15th century Bohemia, and literally every single NPC has a daily routine. Get caught stealing? The guards will absolutely remember you. Your reputation completely changes how the whole town treats you, which is nuts. The first-person sword combat is super tactical and heavy. You actually have to learn how to parry and strike like a real knight. No button mashing allowed. You play as Henry, just trying to survive a brutal civil war, slowly building yourself up from nothing. It is definitely a slow burn, but the immersion is so crazy, it feels like time travel.
Come on then!
Moving on, we have Nioh 3, which just dropped in February 2026 and completely leveled up the formula. If you are into tough games, the absolute strongest point here is the ridiculously deep, satisfying combat system. Team Ninja shifted things up to a way more expansive open field design, but they kept that hardcore action intact. The biggest game changer? The new Ninja playstyle. It is way faster and focused heavily on wild aerial moves and crazy dodges. You're playing as Tokugawa Takechio, fighting off literal hordes of supernatural yokai. And yeah, the boss fights are still punishing, but so rewarding. They also threw in an awesome multiplayer mode so you can explore the open zones with friends. If you want a brutal challenge with flawless combat, this is a total must-play.
この手で示すと。
All right, Monster Hunter Wilds is just straight up incredible, man. You need to play it if you love epic boss battles. The best part of this game? The completely seamless living ecosystem. You are not just loading into isolated maps anymore. The weather shifts dynamically, and the monsters actually interact with each other like it is a real nature documentary. You could be hunting a massive beast, and suddenly a crazy sandstorm rolls in, bringing out way more dangerous predators. The new mount system lets you carry 2 weapons, so you can swap playstyles mid-fight without going back to camp. The thrill of teaming up with your friends to track down a giant wyvern and finally taking it down after a wild 30-minute struggle is just unmatched. It is incredibly addicting for real.
Let's go.
So it seems. I bet they used the power of the gemstone to charge.
We
their
also have the
warding
Gothic
spell.
Remake, which just came out in
let's not
June
lose
2026. Dude, if you are tired of games treating you like a superhero from minute one, you absolutely have to play this. The strongest point of Gothic? It's totally unforgiving, organic open world. You get thrown into this brutal prison colony surrounded by a massive magic barrier, and you start out as an absolute nobody. Everything can and will destroy you early on. You have to earn your survival by joining different factions, learning skills from actual NPCs, and proving your worth. The devs completely rebuilt the clunky old combat to be way more modern and satisfying, but they kept that gritty, dirty atmosphere that made the original so legendary. It is super refreshing to play an RPG that makes you work. Finally, we got Crimson Desert, which launched back in March 2026. Guys, this game is an absolute masterpiece. You honestly cannot miss it. The absolute best part? The incredibly cinematic, bone-crunching combat mixed with a breathtaking world. Seriously, the physics and animations when you are fighting mercenaries or wrestling giant mythical beasts look straight out of a high-budget movie. You play as Macduff, leading this gritty band of mercenaries, and the story just hits so hard. The open world of Pyle is massive and fully interactive. You can do everything from crazy parkour across towns to solving deep puzzles and exploring hidden, dark dungeons. The sheer amount of visual polish and dynamic weather makes it one of the best-looking games right now. It will easily steal hundreds of your hours,